It's clear Grinding Gear Games has heard all the rhetoric and spiraling from the player base about all these questions that have surfaced. And there's really two of them that's caught the attention of the player base currently. And that is, how much is early access going to cost? And there's going to be only 3 acts, not 6 acts, when November 15th comes and early access for PoE 2 is here. So regarding the how much is it going to cost to get access to Path of Exile 2 on November 15th, we now have an official answer. Grinding Gear Games released a tweet that goes into the details. I'm going to show you the tweet. We're going to talk about it, and you're going to know what the parameters are for early access on November 15th. And then I'd also like to talk about the other topic that's spiraling and creating a lot of smoke in the player base for Path of Exile 2, and that is there's only going to be 3 acts, not all 6 acts on November 15th. And I want to talk about it because in my last video, a lot of people made comments about, you know what, there's only going to be 3 acts. I'm not going to pay to be a tester. So a lot of people are sitting out. And I kind of want to throw some water on that fire. And we're going to look at, you're not going to hear it from me. You'll hear it right from Jonathan. I dug up some old interviews and you'll hear it from him what his expectations are for content on November 15th. So I hope that will better help educate you on whether or not you want to participate with the early access release of Path of Exile 2 on November 15th. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. We'll see you on the other side. So this is the official tweet, which goes to the details of how people can get into the early access of Path of Exile November 15th. And here it is. In about a month from now, we'll be doing a live stream that covers all the content of early access for Path of Exile 2 and how you'll be able to gain access. We won't reveal too much just yet, but we'd like to clarify that just like Fall of Oriath, entry to early access will be gained by purchasing one of the new supporter packs and containing a key. These new supporter packs will be revealed during the live stream, and I'm going to talk about the live stream in a little bit. Players that meet a threshold of lifetime support in PoE 1 will also be invited to participate in early access without needing to purchase a key. We can't wait to tell you all about early access soon. So it looks like if you haven't been a lifelong supporter of Path of Exile and bought supporter packs throughout your life journey with Path of Exile, then you're going to have to buy a key. Now, if you're new to Path of Exile and you're like, Fall of Oriath, well, what was the cost? I wasn't there back then. Well, went into the Path of Exile wiki, and here is what they did for that beta. And they had a $30 supporter pack, which these all include keys and cosmetics and other items. And as you can see here, it all has the description in the supporter pack details. And I'm assuming this is the same kind of theme they're going to have for Path of Exile 2 on November 15th. There's going to be these lists of supporter packs with the key. And then depending on how much you want to support or not support, you will pick one of these. If you don't qualify as what they term long-term supporter of Path of Exile through other supporter packs through your lifetime of playing Path of Exile, you'll have to come here and get a key. So there's a $30 package back then. There was a $60 package. Again, these are keys with cosmetic items. There was $100 all the way up, $160, $240, $480. So as you can see, there's a lot of different levels depending on what you want to do. But really, the main takeaway here is they literally got access to the Fall of Oriath with $30. So just let that kind of guide you on what to expect. if you wanted to get early access on November 15th for Path of Exile 2. Now, regarding the topic of what's going to be there come November 15th, I'm referring to content. What's not going to be there? Now, all the details all the interviews that I've seen, all the articles that I've read, everything on Reddit, everything on the PoE2 Discord, Jonathan, and I'm paraphrasing, and this is my interpretation of the information I read and heard and saw and all the interviews. I always got the interpretation, me personally, my interpretation was that he always stipulated that he doesn't want to release like a half-baked game, even for early access. He wants a lot of content there for early access. He wants what others would classify as a full game on November 15th. And I made reference to it on my previous video that, he made the reference that No Rest for the Wicked, how it was released and people liked it, but when they got to the end, there's no end game. So he doesn't want that feeling with PoE2 on November 15th. Now, granted, you can slice and dice that a million different ways. That doesn't mean 100% the whole full game is going to be available on November 15th. Actually, if there's one theory you can kind of dismiss, it's that. The full game is not, it's early access, guys. If it was a full game, they would have said full release. They are waiting to release the game. It could be 6, could be 9 months. It all depends on what happens during the early access. They have tested as much as they can test, but until real players are in the game testing it and they get the player feedback and the system gets tested, they don't know what they need to fix. Now, Jonathan ideally has said he'd like the full release to be in 2024, but he doesn't know what the reaction is going to be, what they need to fix, how much they need to fix. So these are all moving targets, and based on what happens during early access, this is what is going to kind of have a domino effect on everything else happening. So this is why this stuff is all speculation, because these are all moving targets. But I want to get back to the original point here, and that is, what can we expect on November 15th? So instead of you hearing my interpretation, let's hear what Jonathan said in one of his interviews about what his expectation is. And again, this can all change, guys. So take it with a grain of salt, but listen to what he says about what his expectation is for early access.
Did you ever think about exactly, especially now that the beta is delayed a little bit, maybe pushing out like a demo of the first few acts to kind of grasp where players feel like this is going, and maybe assure people or maybe get some broader feedback?
Well, the problem that I have with that is that, so when I was playing No Rest for the Wicked recently, and I wasn't aware of how much content there was in that game when I played it. I was just playing it. And I got to the end of the content, and then I immediately felt extremely let down. And partly that's just an expectation problem, because I was expecting it to be the whole game. I just didn't realize that they weren't doing that yet. But it's like, it sort of felt like, well, what was the point? You know what I mean? Like, and I was kind of gearing up for like, oh, there's going to be like all these crafting systems, and I see all the stuff that I'm going to use in the future, and like none of it ended up mattering because they haven't added all the content yet for that. And that, as I said, that was a real disappointment. And I really want to avoid that feeling. Like, I want it to feel like when the game comes out that it is a full game. And that's important to me. So you could maybe argue that like having an earlier demo would be better. But then why would it really be better? Because at the end of the day, if we release a good game, then people will like it no matter when it comes out.
Yeah.
Like, you may want to be assured that the game's going to be good now, but really, won't you still play it when it comes out later? But we only have one chance. We only have one chance to leave a first impression.
Feel like a full game. Only have one chance to leave a first impression. That is how Jonathan feels. They only have one chance to have a first impression, and they want us to feel like it's a full game on November 15th. I want you to remember that when you're contemplating whether or not to participate in the Path of Exile 2 early access on November 15th. So I just wanted to share that. I also wanted to say that in the tweet regarding the early access and what is involved in getting into early access, it says in a month. So we've already heard through Grinding Gear Games that they are 100% working on the end game content right now, and we're going to learn more about the end game sometime in the beginning of November. So if I combine these two pieces of information, the recent tweet and what was mentioned prior to when we're going to get another update on the end game being early November, I tie the two together. So I suspect this tweet that mentions we're going to learn more is tied to the end game as well. So I think they're going to do one live stream sometime early November and give us all the details on the supporter packs, the pricing, the end game content, and what is going to be included on November 15th for early access. That is my belief. That is my interpretation of the information. Again, my opinion. So I suspect and I request or encourage you to hold off on making any decisions until then. We still have about 6 weeks before the launch of early access. So don't haste, don't rush to judgment. I think we are in good hands. You heard it right here from Jonathan. He wants the early access to feel like a full game. So I think we're in good hands here. So all I'm saying is wait till their live stream, which is probably going to be a couple of weeks before the actual release on November 15th. And then you will have all the information at your fingertips, and then you can decide what you want to do. Okay, anyway, I just wanted to update you on these two topics. I hope you found it informative. By the way, come over and watch me live on Twitch. We stream every evening on Twitch. Channel name is SamyCaps. We're doing the Runic Strife Gauntlet. Wow. What an experience this gauntlet has been. It's been unbelievable. Anyway, come over to Twitch and watch me die live on Twitch. Channel name is SamyCaps. All right, everybody. Thank you for and if you can like, comment, and subscribe to this channel on more PoE2 content, I would greatly appreciate the support of my channel. Thanks, everyone. Hope to see you next time. Take care. The opinions expressed in this video are mine and solely mine. Healthy debate is always encouraged. Hate is never welcomed. So get over it.